Welcome to Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone. We're live inside Muscatine Hy-Vee on 2nd Avenue in Muscatine, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Now, here's Tony Tone.
Morning, friends. We're here. It's Hy-Vee Today. You're getting a bonus car wash outside with that rain. It woke me up. I'm a heavy sleeper. And that storm that kind of rolled in, wow, that was a little bit of a surprise. When I woke up, I looked at the radar on my phone, and I thought, no, really? This is what we're dealing with already? And then if you recall, I believe it was a year ago yesterday, March 6th, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the tornado rolled through Muscatine, and that was terrible. So, and as I've said before, I'm not a fan of severe weather. First one to run down into the basement with the kids and my wife, of course, when it happens. I'm not the neighbor of mine who, one of the storms last year, I was texting my neighbor because he was out on the front porch just watching it. Like, hey, man, we're in the basement. Shout out to my neighbor, Jason. We're in the basement, and let me know when it's over. He's like, all right, cool. Right across the street. So nothing severe, thank God. But, yeah, walking across the parking lot here at Hy-Vee and just getting a bonus shower. I almost got my car wash on Saturday. Almost. I would have been kicking myself if I did. And it was almost one of those things where you see people like getting their car wash and you want to say like, hey, it's going to downpour. But then that's not fair to the car wash business. I don't want to undercut any of the car washes. Last night, I just want to recap a couple things from this weekend. It was very busy. Had a lot going on. I sampled 17 different chilies last night at Grace Lutheran. So that was cool. It was their first ever chili cook-off event, and they had a fantastic crowd. I'd never been to Grace Lutheran, and yeah, so had a lot of fun judging. 17 different chilies. That doesn't mean you had to eat like a bowl of each, but yeah, 17 chilies. Whoa. A couple of them were so hot that I had the under the eye sweat going on. And then almost behind the ear, which was kind of concerning. Like, I don't know if that's a spot where you're typically supposed to sweat, but thanks to everybody at Grace Lutheran. Appreciate that. It was a lot of fun. And, yeah, I did some bad karaoke on Friday night. So if you were at Mike's Hilltop Tap, I apologize. But sometimes I like to do karaoke. I'm not good at it, and I'm okay with that. So we have an interesting show. I just was getting a couple of texts, and I'm wondering who's going to come talk Muskies. Brian Musell was scheduled. He's saying he's getting caught up at work, so I just sent a text to his broadcast partner, Joel Krausar. We'll see. Either way, we're going to talk Muskies because they're going to state tomorrow for the first time in 16 years, and that's pretty cool. All right, so all that aside, we're looking ahead to this coming weekend. There is one heck of an event inside the Muscatine Mall. It's the annual River City Outdoor Show. Scott Richardson's in the house. Good to see you, my friend.
Good morning, Tony.
Thanks for coming out. This is so fun. We've known each other, I don't know, 4 or 5 years probably.
Yeah, at least.
And several years ago, one of the first events that I did when I had my other job was a live broadcast from the outdoor show when it was at the Ag Learning Center.
Yep, we were out there for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then we outgrew that place quick. Not just the inside, but the amount of parking that we needed to pull off an event like this.
It was unbelievable to see. And then you tell us, we're going to put it in the mall. There's a lot of space in the mall, and you fill just about every square foot of that space.
There is. Believe it or not, there's about 25% more space in the center of the mall than there is in that big arena out at the Ag Center. The Ag Center loved to have us. It just didn't have enough room.
You're right, though. That parking, it can be such an issue. And if for whatever reason, if you haven't made it to the outdoor show, but you've driven past the Muscatine Mall parking lot, you kind of know what's going on because there's vehicles everywhere,
we pack
all over the place.
We pack the front of the parking lot, the back of the parking lot. We've even had people in the grass behind the parking lot.
Yeah. And for the Muscatine Mall, it's such a blessing to have this event because, I'm not saying there's not a lot going on in the mall. I definitely am a fan of the businesses that are inside the mall. They're great people that are running them. But this is such a shot in the arm when you guys roll in with the River City Outdoor Show. So how many years is it coming into this weekend?
This will be the 7th year.
Wow.
And a lot of changes this year. We've combined it with the annual home show.
Okay.
the home show, we tried it for about 3 years and it just wasn't taking off on its own. So we decided to switch it up a little bit, combine the two, you know, kind of put our advertising dollars all in one and make one big good event. So
over the years, I don't know, it was last year, the year before, I had a snake around my neck.
I remember that.
Taking a selfie with the snake. Dave Bakke was on the show a couple weeks ago, you know. So I always enjoyed my time, and I'll be the first to admit that I'm not by any means an outdoorsman, but that doesn't mean that the outdoor show / home show is not for me. It's for everybody, Scott. I mean, it's really, you know, it's a great way to spend some time, get out of the house, and talk to all the, I mean, you have so many great vendors, businesses that show up.
Yeah, and they're all from our area, you know, so if you come out, you're in support of local business. By the way, did you ever figure out how to make that duck call sound like a duck call? Like a duck?
Kind of. I still have it. I was given a duck call, and it was really cool. I did not know how to use it. But, you know, I should have brought it yesterday. We were at Weed Park and getting harassed by a couple of geese. There was one that I was just like, I don't think you're allowed to karate chop a goose, but this one was like coming at, you know what I mean? I'm like, slow down. But, yeah, no, it's really been fun over the years to see this evolve, continue to grow, and totally family-friendly. You know, my boys have both been to it. They're 5 and 3 now, and it's really, this is for all ages, the River City Outdoor Show.
Yeah, definitely. We give away about 25% of the floor space to anybody that supports conservation. National Wild Turkey Federation, DU, Delta, anything like that. And it's treated us well. You know, it's a little bit of a hard venue to pull something like this off on. Because most home shows or outdoor shows, anything like that you go to, you know, there's $7 to $10 to get in the door.
Absolutely.
You know, and being in a mall, we can't do that. So we depend on our vendors to be able to pay the bills. So,
and they really come out. And we have the website pulled up. Can we full screen the website again? So that was really cool. You have such a nice website, by the way. So you really can get a sense. Hey, look, there's yours truly. That's from the first one several years ago. You can tell by how crazy my hair looked. Your website's super easy to use. And again, from taxidermy to the duck calls, the turkey calls, even over the years, there's been like Sensi reps there. That's what I'm saying. Like, it is very much an outdoor show. But there's more to it than just that. Like, it's almost hard to label it, isn't it?
Yeah, that all started because when we were out at the Ag Center, there was nothing for the women to do. You know, so we invited some of these other vendors along, so the women had stuff to look at as well as the men, because not that many women are involved in hunting. Some are, you know, but so it worked really well for us out there in that setting, because if people leave, they're not probably coming back. You know, and again, I was mentioning, you know, it's a free show. It's free admission. There's no reason not to stop out.
Yeah, free to get in. So think about that. It's Saturday and Sunday.
It's Saturday and Sunday. It's Saturday from 9 till 5.
Okay.
And Sunday 10 to 4.
So you show up, grab a parking spot, hopefully, depending on what time you get there, and then you walk in and you check it out. And I mean, you know, is Troy Mitchell going to be back? Mitchell Arms and Ammo. So there's all these great local people, and then even some folks, again, like you said, sort of within the region, because for them, this, I mean, it's in their wheelhouse, yes, but not a lot of them get out that often. Not a lot of them are able to be in front of a couple thousand people over the course of a weekend. Right?
We've drawn as many as 5,000 to 8,000 people in 2 days. You know, we do have Fairview Zoo coming back this year. They always bring us 10 to 12 small animals, which is it's a lot of fun, because they don't bring your run-of-the-mill animals. It's stuff you don't see: armadillos and
baby crocodiles, baby alligators. I can't remember which one it was, but
they had an alligator one year.
In the mall. It was a baby, but it was still an alligator. Pretty cool.
Very cool.
And those guys are really nice too. Like, they're great when you're walking up to look at the stuff with your kids. Like, they'll explain exactly what's going on.
Yeah, and most people don't realize they're around. They're just south of Wapello.
Right.
If you go to Newport Junction, you go a mile east and then a little bit south. They've got, I think, probably 300 different animals down there.
Wow.
So
they really?
They actually have a zoological farm, is what they call it. So.
I'm telling you, you can go on the website. But I just want you to show up, because I know from the past 4 or 5 years that it's a great time. And again, when you can do something, and I printed my notes, but I forgot them upstairs, and I didn't really need them since I've known you as long as I have now. But I just think it's so admirable, because you're creating an event in a space that, you know, doesn't have a lot going on. As I said, there's a couple businesses still inside the mall, and I have the utmost respect for the people that are operating. But when you can do something, Scott, like you've done with the outdoor show, it's really just a testament to yourself, because it's a lot of work, but also just a nice way to kind of, like I said, revitalize that mall. Because I wasn't around for when the mall was hopping, you know, in the 90s and early 2000s. I've heard all the stories about the arcade. I saw some movies in the old movie theater. But for me, the only true sense I've had of that mall being full is because of your show, because the outdoor show.
Yeah. Yeah, and we always get calls afterwards from all the motels, you know, they're all full. The restaurants say, you know, we brought in everybody we had, and we were still so packed we couldn't keep up. So it's a great thing for Muscatine, you know. It's a good thing for the businesses that are left inside the mall. Yeah. And there's actually still over 30 businesses at the mall. Yeah, it's just they're on the outside.
Right.
You know. So it's really good for the city. It's good exposure for us. Our main business, actually River City Promotions, is building and hosting websites.
Right.
You know, so we pick up a little business from that. You know, our business is tagged in with all the advertising and everything. So it's good for us for exposure.
Yeah. So the web business, right? So important in 2018 for folks that are in business to have a strong presence on the web. I mean, social media is good, but when people are going to do like a Google search or a Bing search, you want to be there.
Yep.
And that's where River City Promotions can come in and help out, can't you?
Yeah, and that's where it's at, because, you know, there's so many free web builders out there.
Sure.
You know, I mean, everybody thinks you can build a website for free. Well, you can. You can build a great looking website. The problem is the back end of a website is 10 times more important than the front end. So, you know, if they can't find you, it doesn't do you any good.
Yes. So. You're right. And that's where, again, when you check out the sites that you have for yourself and then for some of the businesses that you've helped, they all look really good. They're easy to navigate. They optimize well for mobile platforms.
And we're set up to work with small business. And the reason that is because we had a small business. And we were looking for somebody to build us a professional-looking website, one that didn't cost an arm and a leg, and there was nobody available.
Sure.
You know, so we figured out how to do it ourselves. And once we got that done, we realized, hey, there's a need for this.
In Muscatine, Iowa? Absolutely. Yeah. It exists. And it exists, and you know that because of the folks you've helped out. So we have the website pulled up again. Let's scroll down a little bit, Ryan, and just kind of give everybody a sense of what they're going to see if they check out the Outdoor Show website. You can see who's going to be there. You can see pictures from over the past few years. You know, it's one of those events, Scott, where you probably are planning the next year after. So let's go through this, right? So it's 2018 show is this Saturday and Sunday in the Muscatine Mall. When will you start the 2019 show?
This weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll start working some of the vendors that are already there.
Wow.
You know, and we'll go through and talk to them before it's over. Ask them, you know, if they had a good time. Sure. If they thought the exposure was good, and we'll already start trying to get them back for next year. So.
It's so great. And it is all about really these small businesses supporting each other. Here's the event schedule. There you go. So there's the Fairview Zoological Farm. So scroll down a little bit. And again, we want you to check out the River City Outdoor Show. Events like this are only able to sustain themselves when folks come out.
Absolutely.
And tell their friends and bring their family. There's Dave Bakke. The gentleman that scores the antlers, he's always great.
Yeah, that's Don Pfeiffer. He comes in every year. That'll be on Saturday only. So if you got any racks that you want scored, bring them out. Bring them out on Saturday. He will not be there Sunday.
He's a nice guy, too. So let's keep scrolling just a little bit. Hawkeye Fly Fishing Association, that's fun. Some custom meats, right.
Big change this year.
Sure.
You know, we've had Edgewood Locker's been with us since the very first year. You know, they started doing samples, and we realized being out there in the Ag Center that, you know, with nothing to eat, people get hungry, they're going to leave. They're not going to come back.
Sure.
You know, so we talked to Edgewood. Edgewood decided that, you know, they would go ahead and make brats for in the morning. Do breakfast brats in the morning, switch over, do lunch ones. And it was such a great hit. We got people that come to the show just to get the Edgewood product.
Oh, they would buy cases of
but
stuff.
we don't have them this year. They had a scheduling snafu, and but we got the next best thing. It's a company called Shearer Custom Meats. They're from just north of the Quad Cities.
Okay, cool.
And they actually raise all their own beef and everything. And Edgewood Locker does all their processing.
Yes.
So it's if you like Edgewood, you're gonna love these people.
You can trust that the product's going to be just as delicious.
Yep.
And you're right. I mean, when you're at the outdoor show this Saturday and Sunday, Muscatine Mall, and you're walking around, you want to grab something to eat. And then there's a lot of people, Scott, they're buying stuff. I mean, they're buying knives. They're buying, again, the duck calls, turkey calls. There's always, I don't know if he's still going to be there, but the guy that has like those dip mixes, those are always really good.
Yeah,
right?
and he's out of Wilton, so he's a local guy.
Yeah.
That's Chef It Up.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and then we haven't even really scratched the surface as far as what you say the home show is a part of the outdoor show. So what type of businesses, vendors will folks see in that regard? So you've combined the two.
Yeah, we've got everything from basement systems to contractors, you know, just a little bit of everything. And we've had a great turnout. Actually, we had more people turn out in the home field for the outdoor show than we did for the home show. So, go figure.
Yeah, right, go figure. But again, you think about, okay, the basement systems. If you got an older house, this going on right now, this weather, you might have a little bit of water coming in the basement. And you have folks that show up, and I don't know exactly which business it is. Is it Todd's? Or
Yep, Todd's Mudjacking.
Out of the Quad Cities. And they're going to be able to make your basement a dry basement.
Yep.
And it's not that easy to just have now you can call any business, right? You could go on your website, you can see who's going to be there, you could call them, but talking to these people in person, seeing the demonstrations, getting the material.
And, the one that we've got that's been there several years called Helitech.
Sure.
And they do the basement stuff. Todd's does a little bit more of the concrete work. You know,
like if you got to have a
driveway
wall redone or whatever.
Or a driveway that's that's sunken in, they can raise it back up. So
that's great. Yeah, I'm telling you what, folks, this is an event you don't want to miss. And the fact that you've continued to do it, I don't know, you don't even really sleep over the weekend, I know.
No.
Because it's just, you'll start, when will you start, Scott, getting folks situated in their spots?
We open the doors this Friday at noon, and we'll start getting all the large stuff in. You know, we've got tractors from Sinclair we've got to get in there. We've got a Jeep from Striker Rest.
Nice.
It's a company here in town that makes armrests for Wranglers.
Awesome.
So we got to get them in there. We've got a lot of big stuff, boats.
Cool.
You know, Davenport Boat comes down, brings us boats every year. We've got people coming up from Burlington that are bringing us canoes and kayaks. So there's a lot of big stuff. So we start Friday at noon, and we'll run that through 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Wow.
And then we'll also open at 6 o'clock on Saturday morning until the show opens at 9. So
it's a lot of work.
It is.
And again, we're looking at a few more pictures. There's Troy Mitchell. I mentioned him earlier with Mitchell Arms and Ammo, from guns to knives. Let's scroll through some of these pictures, Ryan, if you don't mind. Yeah, I mean it is really cool. It's stuff that you normally see some ATVs and boats in the mall, right? So it's like you walk in and it's immediate. Some essential oils, right? So again, the variety of folks that are going to be there, you're going to be pleasantly surprised if you're watching this live or on the rebroadcast. Excuse me, on MPW at 7:30 and 10:30 this weekend. You need to make plans to be there. Even if you just show up for a couple hours. I mean, or if you pop in Saturday and you want to come back Sunday and make a purchase from a vendor, just make sure they're going to be there, right? Most of them probably will be there both days.
And, we used to vend ourselves. And one of the problems that we would have is we would have people get a hold of us you know, 2-3 months later, it's like, oh, I finally found you.
Right.
You know, so one of the things that we do is we take all of our vendors and we put them on the vendor page on the website.
Yes.
So after the show, if you want to go back and find that vendor, you know, it's easy. I usually put a link to their website if they have one.
Yeah.
We put on phone information
Sure.
and email information too. So
it's really slick that you do that for them. I think it's just a nice thing to have. And again, there is no cost to get in, so keep that in mind if you're watching this. That there's no cost to get into the River City Outdoor Show. All that being said, you know, if folks are watching this that are in a small business and they need support from what you can do with a website, I want them to reach out. So give some contact info. Maybe let's talk River City Promotions contact info, outdoor website, and then some power washing as well, because that's coming up.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be that season again too.
I can't believe it. Yeah.
But yeah, the importance of a website, most small businesses, they just don't realize, you know, because it ties everything together, you know. And with Google working on relevancy, you got to have that presence out there.
Absolutely.
And it ties all your other social media together.
Sure.
You know, it gives you a good landing spot for Facebook and Instagram or Twitter or whatever else that you use for social media. And it's something you want to do ahead of time.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't want to wait till the last minute to do it, or do it when things aren't working well, because it takes a while for that to work.
Yeah, we just had the River City Promotions website pulled up, I think, so we'll take another shot of that so we can show everybody. 563-506-0546, still a good number?
That's a good number.
Perfect. And then, yeah, the power washing. So if your house is looking a little, it's looking a little, you know, you show up, and I've never seen somebody be able to stand, Scott, on the ground and power wash a 2-3-story house because you got these giant long wands or whatever they're called.
Yep.
It's pretty
extendable
cool.
wand.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's pretty impressive to see that.
Yeah, and we do things a little bit different there as well.
Sure.
You know, we find a niche in everything that we do. And the thing with it is we use the only chemical that will actually kill the mold and algae spores.
Nice.
So unfortunately, it has a working temperature above 52 degrees.
Sure.
So that limits our time of when we can work. And we probably won't get started up till April this year, but if we can't do it right, we don't do it at all.
Yeah, and again, we're looking at some of the pictures, River City Power Wash. I mean, it just looks so good. The difference is just, you could tell night and day. Look at the bricks, right?
Oh yeah.
The bricks
Amazing
were dirty
difference.
and gnarly, and then there's some awnings for business, so home or business for sure. You're a busy man. You have a lot going on. The River City Outdoor Show / home show now. I'm saying this again because I want people to remember that it's free to get in. It's a wonderful time, and it's important that we all kind of work, you know, together. Small businesses, the vendors, your family and your crew that's going to be there, the long days.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I wonder if you get the sense, like, it was all worth it when you can see a couple 100,000 people, you know, walking through the mall, or is it all worth it when you see
I don't think we'll get that many, but
well, maybe I meant a couple hundred
seems like
/ few
that.
thousand,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It
yeah.
does get to that
It
point when
does.
you're like, wow, this is great. But when
You know-
when are you able to sort of step back? Do you get a chance to step back during the weekend and say, this is why we do it?
Not really. I'm doing good to get a chance to get relieved long enough to go and take a shower, because we stay out there. I'll be out there from Friday at noon until Sunday night when the last vendor's gone.
Sure.
You know, I mean, it's a full run.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big guy. I usually lose 5 to 7 pounds that weekend.
You're not
just
stop
from
moving
running.
around.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true. And you know, it's a family affair for you guys too, right?
It
I mean,
is.
it's all
It
hands
is.
on deck.
Yep.
Kids have grown up around it. And it's weird to see how like old they are now. I'm like, no, that can't be right. That makes me feel old.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you stopped by. River City Outdoor and Home Show. It's March 10th and 11th inside the Muscatine Mall. You're going to have a good time. No cost to get in. So many great vendors from in and around the Muscatine area, and a great way to spend time with the family. I haven't looked ahead to see what the weather is going to be like this weekend.
I haven't either.
It doesn't matter because you're inside.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. No worries.
No worries at all. Just get there early enough to get a decent parking space. That's
Yep.
the only thing we'll say.
Yep.
Scott, it's great to see you, man.
Thanks for having
Thanks
us.
for your time. And please, folks, again, if you're watching this, River City Outdoor Show this weekend. Okay, so we're inside Hy-Vee off Highway 61. We have this thing we call Cart Cam. It's a lot of fun. It's a camera on a shopping cart, gives you one heck of a perspective of the store. And Mr. Ryan Broderson is about to take off. And Ryan, if you want to go like maybe to aisle 7 and then turn left and see what's going on at the front of the store, that would be cool. So yeah, this is always one of my favorite perspectives we have inside the store. Check it out. It's a good little view. And again, the thing I like to say is, when was the last time you rode in a shopping cart? Hopefully it's been a number of years, right? Okay, he's making the turn. Let's see what's going on at the front. My wife had sent me a text that said she had a little hail, so I don't, do we really need any more hail? This whole town got roofs, I feel like. We had to get a roof at the house, and then we had to get our garage metal roof redone, thanks to Affordable Metal. So, yeah, check out. Oh, look at that. There's a customer. Hello, sir. Oh, again, I do feel like we're eavesdropping a little bit, but that's all right. Checking out Cart Cam inside your Muscatine Hy-Vee on an overcast and rainy Monday. We do have a little bit of a chance for some precipitation in the sleet, snow for tomorrow. So if you want to get out today and do your grocery shopping, that's a good idea. We'd love to have you. And then again, make plans for the 2018 River City Outdoor and Home Show coming up soon. So at the start of the show, I mentioned that tomorrow is not just your typical Tuesday. I'm surprised that the whole city of Muscatine isn't just shutting down, because it hasn't happened in 16 years. Muskie boys basketball heading to state, making the trek to Des Moines, and it's going to be a wonderful game for sure. Joe Wieskamp and the fellas successful against Linmar, and here they go. They're all set. I saw activities/athletic director Mike Morgan last night at Grace Lutheran for the chili cook-off, and he's ready. And I also saw a really cool picture of Scott Berlin with Berlin's, I think it's Berlin's Custom Pro Shop. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry. He was doing Muskie shirts for state, these really cool purple shirts. I think he's done over 1,200 of them. And there was a picture of Scott with all the shirts behind him. Pretty cool to see that. So Muskie boys basketball, you can listen to the game on the radio if you can't make it to Des Moines. Joel Krausauer just walked in. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah.
Kind of got called in last minute.
It's wet out.
Is it still coming down?
Oh, it's raining harder than it was.
If only you had like an umbrella that was actually some metal roofing from your job.
Maybe
metal.
Maybe that's the next
cool.
the next iteration of giveaway.
Yeah. So Joel is close enough to Hy-Vee, and again, I'm plugging Affordable Metal because Brooke and the crew let him come over on a really, truly last-minute notice to talk about this. But they understand the importance of this for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we're supporters of the community first and foremost. Yeah. We do a lot with the high school and and the other student organizations and church organizations in our community. And you mentioned the hailstorm. When you're in the roofing business,
right?
Hail's not a 4-letter word for us, but it just is what it is. And we're excited to. Hopefully, the weather does hold out because I'm making the trek to Des Moines tomorrow. Yeah. Brian Musell and I will have the game on KWPC, AM 860, FM 95.1, which you don't have to just listen to us on the air. You can listen to it on voiceofmuscatine.com with the Listen Live, and as well on the smartphone apps, the KWPC mobile app too. So maybe you have to work tomorrow, maybe you have our second shift or whatever, because the game tips off at 6:30. There's lots of opportunities for you to listen to that if you can't make the trip to Des Moines. And the other thing you were talking about, Mike Morgan, you can still buy tickets at the activities office today at the high school for the game, and if you buy them locally, a percentage of that money stays in our community and stays with our school district. So if you know you're going, try to get some of those tickets from the high school.
And Mike had, I don't know if he tweeted this or whatever, but he also said that there's going to be one place in Des Moines at the Wells Fargo Arena that's going to be selling tickets, so you might as well avoid a line.
Right.
And I don't know for sure, but it seems like a few thousand people from Muscatine will be making the trek.
Yeah, right? There's, I think, 6 pet buses.
Wow.
So that's just students. There's about 6 pet buses. Because like you said, it's the first time in 16 years.
Yeah.
I think I was a sophomore in college when they went, and I remember watching that on TV. You know, watching guys like Mark Phelan
cool.
and Brandon Betcher and that whole group play in that tournament.
Yeah.
Kyle Murray, who's now a high school coach at Rock Island, Rock Island Alleman head coach, was on that team.
Awesome.
So it's cool to see, and I've seen some of those guys on Twitter kind of get at these current high school students.
Sure.
And, you know, I think back to some of those guys on the team, like Mark and I. We worked at Geneva, and Mark and I both worked at the country club at the same time. I was a little bit older, but Josh Hutton was born while we were working at the country club. His dad Steve was our boss, and so that's the thing that's cool about for me sitting here is I remember what a lot of these kids, you know, when they were born. Like I moved back to this community shortly. After those guys were
and
little
now
kids,
they're all
and
like
now they're all
17, 18,
and grown-ups. You know, Jackson Falk and Joe Wieskamp. My wife was their second grade teacher. So there's so much in our community, and that's why the community is kind of jumping on this and going. And I think too, I mean, a lot's been written. You know, Joe Wieskamp, the all-time leading scorer in Class 4A. I think he's number 9 all-time now in the whole state of Iowa. I don't have that fact in front of me, but I think he's close to that.
Yeah.
But the guys he's passed, and then the Des Moines Register this past weekend came out with the top 50 players of all time, not just this year, not just the last 10 years, of all time, and they put Joe Wieskamp in that list. Also on that list, Murray Weir, former Muscatine Muskie, who played in the NBA as well. So Muscatine had 2 players on that all 50 list from all time. And they've got their work cut out for him because a player who didn't make that list, but probably was in the conversation, plays for Iowa City West, who's Muscatine's opponent. And that's Patrick McCaffrey, who's just a junior. I mean,
so he's a junior, and Iowa City West played after Muscatine beat Linn-Mar.
Yeah.
And Patrick McCaffrey forgot a shoe.
Yep, he forgot a shoe.
So his dad, Fran, is the head coach of the Iowa Hawkeye men's basketball team. Patrick forgot a shoe.
Yeah.
So Joe Wieskamp gave him the
So
shoe that he wore?
I was about 8 feet away from this exchange when it happened. And
what happened?
So Patrick comes over, and Patrick and Joe both played in the Iowa Barnstormers.
They're going to be future teammates.
Good friends. In fact, the game that Joe scored 54, Patrick was in the house, and that afternoon Patrick had texted Joe and said, if I'm coming to watch you better score 50. And Joe puts up 54.
That's
so
amazing.
So they have a very good friendship, very good rivalry in a friendly way. They don't play on the same AAU team because Joe's a year older, but they're in the same organization. And Patrick's like, Joe, I need shoes. So they switch shoes. Apparently they're the same size, but it wasn't going as well in the first quarter, and Patrick's other shoe came. A girl from the state championship Iowa City West girls basketball team went to the McCaffrey house because Fran and his mom were in New York for the Big Ten tournament. She goes to the house, gets the other shoe, brings it to Cedar Rapids, and the third and fourth quarter. I do have on good authority that there will be no shoe exchange tomorrow night.
Right, because as friendly as they are opponents. We do have the bracket on the screen. That is pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So 6:30 is the tip tomorrow.
Right, 6:30 tip off tomorrow night.
Okay, and it's not 6:45. It is
it's 6:30.
And by all accounts,
hold on. There is a game before it, so we don't know. There's a chance that
it might not be a
some
hard
of these 3A.
6:30.
And here's the thing: if you're going up, get there early, get into the arena, because the 3A game that's right before them is Oskaloosa.
Wow.
Oskaloosa has a sophomore, Xavier Foster, who's a 5-star kid. Iowa has offered, Kansas, Kentucky, all of these people are involved. He's a 6'10" sophomore, big man that Iowa is in on early. So if you're a Hawkeye fan or a Cyclone fan and you want to show this guy some love to stay in our state, get out there a little bit early and show. And he's got some ties to the Muscatine community. I think some family members work for Musco and Oskaloosa, which is a big Muscatine company as well.
So Iowa City West, and we have the bracket pulled up again. So it's one game at a time for the Muskies, but they take on Iowa City West. If they are successful and defeat Iowa City West, when would they play next? We have the bracket on the screen.
Yeah, so they'll play on Thursday will be the next game, and they'll play, I believe, the winner of Waukee and Johnston.
Okay.
And then you have Sioux City East and Cedar Falls on the other side of the bracket.
Okay.
And North Scott also is the 2 seed, so they're on the other side of the bracket too. So
North Scott has to beat West Des Moines Valley.
Yep.
Which is no small feat.
But they're the 7 seed.
Sure.
So Valley is the 7 seed.
So there's a possibility that we could see a Muscatine North Scott.
Yeah, you could have an All Mississippi Athletic Conference championship game.
Wow, that would be wild. And then the state
that would
championship.
Be Friday. That would be Friday.
Yeah, that would be Friday. Okay, that's really cool.
And so they're working hard to try and turn this corner and win a game at state. It's a big feat. Yeah. You know, Patrick McCaffrey averages 20.6 points per game, but then they also have Sabian Sims, who's a 6'7" forward who averages 14 points per game.
High school kids are so tall.
And then West has another guy who's 6'8".
Jeez.
So I mean, they're a big, long team, and so they have 4 losses on the year. They're 19-4. One loss is to Creighton Durham Hall out of Minneapolis, which is Dave Winfield's high school, and Paul Molitor, Jake Maurer, like that's where all those guys went to high school. And then they're one of the top 20 programs in the country. Jeez. And then one of their other losses is to Bishop Meade High School out of Kansas, which has 2 5-star recruits on it as well. And so 2 of their losses are out of state to top 10 national programs, and then they've lost to Cedar Falls and Dubuque Senior. Jeez. So Dubuque Senior was upset, though, by North Scott to go to the state tournament.
This is unbelievable. So this Iowa City West team is tough.
Yeah.
But I don't want to dwell on the victory over Linn-Mar. But Linn-Mar, I mean, that was a close game. Yeah. That took another team effort by Muscatine. So we can't just assume that Joe Eastcamp is going to, put the team on his back and score 50 points tomorrow. It's really got to be a balanced effort if they want to advance. I mean, that's what's proven to be true, and I think that comes from Coach Belger for sure. But obviously it also comes from the athletes showing up and performing. But clutch free throws were a big part of the Linn-Mar game. Getting fouled, making those conversions, 3-point shots. So Joe will be Joe and be a great leader and have a good game, but he's got to have that support.
Well, and as good as they've been during the games and during the season, the games that they win, they usually have another player get to double figures or have 2 players combined for 20 points. That's been the formula. I did some analysis over the weekend, and that they've only lost 1 game. Wow. If they've had 2 players combined for over 15 points, they've only lost 1 game this season. Has Muscatine.
That's encouraging.
So they're close. I mean, all they need is one other guy to really kind of hit it, or have 2 or 3 other guys. Josh Hutton had a huge 4-point play at the end down the stretch against Linn-Mar. There was really a big momentum switch, as was Jackson Falk hitting 3 3-pointers as well. So I think the thing that if you watch these guys and if you've watched them play all year, you see their team chemistry. You see that they like each other. It's very rare sometimes to have a superstar on a team and then have the rest of the guys not have any sort of animosity or ego towards that. Growing up playing basketball, that you saw it a lot.
Oh yeah.
And you see that with both Patrick McCaffrey and Joe Wieskamp are kind of unicorns in the fact that they are stars that truly are good teammates. They share the basketball, they rebound, they do the little things, and hopefully the guys in purple and gold can just have the edge tomorrow night. It'll help having hopefully thousands of Muscatine fans there supporting them.
So and there's just like the high school is closing early tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so. I don't
2:30. I mean, this is really going to be something special because what if we go back to 2002, was that Muskie team, did they go to the state, did they lose?
They lost, I think, in the first round. I think it was a similar situation. I should have gone back
that's
and
all right.
That up. But I'll tell you, that team started out 5-8 on the year and then got hot at the end and made the state tournament. So that was one of those true Cinderella runs where I think everyone kind of has looked at Muscatine as, okay, if they get it figured out.
Yeah.
The other thing is Gary Belger, about 6 years ago, or no, maybe 8 years ago, he was at Southeast Polk.
Sure.
And that's a program that didn't have a rich history, and he took them in a similar situation, a similar seed, and he took them to the state title game.
So this guy knows how to coach.
Over 600 wins as a high school basketball coach, and over 800 as a career coach.
He knows how to coach teams that are talented, but then he also, I think he just, listening to, and I just listened to the Linn-Mar game. I can't even imagine being there. It seems like he takes timeouts at the right time.
He pushes all that Linn-Mar game was one of the most masterfully coached games I've seen in person at the high school level.
So he knows what he's doing. So we have a lot going for us. Everybody's healthy for the most part. Iowa City West is going to be competitive. I mean, but we almost saw this with Linn-Mar, with Hutcherson. That kid was dropped, 34, 35 points?
If Trey Hutchison doesn't have DJ Carton in his own class, and Patrick McCaffrey in his own class, he's the best player in the state. I mean, that I would go on record and say that. But he just happens to have two, and I think Trey Hutchinson's going to go to a place like UNI or Drake, where
he had a heck of a game.
Yeah, he's a great player.
So
very similar to Joe in style of play.
I think this Muskie team is better equipped after surviving that Linn-Mar game, and I say surviving because they were really pushed to the brink a couple times. I mean, there were some momentum shifts, and Linn-Mar had that little run, and that can be tough because, again, we're talking about athletes that are in high school, right? That's not to say that they're not mature, but it can be tough even at this level to keep your emotions, to keep your cool,
right?
Because there's so much going on in your day-to-day life, plus having this opportunity.
Well, and there's so many variables too. So like the Muskie boys were on the score last night with Matt Randazzo up in the Quad Cities. So the 6 seniors went up there and they did some press stuff that most high school kids don't wake up knowing how to do.
And most of them don't want to do it.
Yeah, but they embraced it. They're totally in, and they're not distracted. They're not. I talked to a couple of them yesterday and over the weekend, and there's just a lot of experience there. That Joe has had microphones in his face since his sophomore year of high school,
right?
And now the other guys that they kind of had a chance to watch it, and they've learned from him. Honestly, he's not just a good role model for the kids in the community; he's a good role model for his teammates. And there's a lot of yin and yang with this team. You've got the personalities play off each other quite well.
Oh yeah, I think we're gonna have a very well matched, motivated Muscatine team that is, studying Iowa City West. They're going to arrive. They're going to be ready. And I just, I don't think I'm going to be able to personally make it to the game, but I can't imagine what that sea of purple is going to look like.
And when I think of games like this, I always go back to, when we were kids, no one thought Mike Tyson could be beat.
Right.
And then I remember going to bed and waking up the next day and Buster Douglas had beaten Mike Tyson.
Sure.
I think about that's the sort of approach that I think a team like Muscatine has to take going into this tournament. Is you're here, everyone has a puncher's chance. Yeah. Now it's time to just be patient, execute your game plan, and see what happens. Because teams like this, when you have someone as skilled as Wieskamp, you've got a haymaker on your roster.
Oh yeah.
And anything can happen as long as you do your job.
3 wins away from a potential 4A state championship.
Yep, would be the
3 wins.
It's remarkable. I don't know the Muscatine's ever won a state title in men's basketball and boys basketball.
So it could happen this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
It could happen by Friday.
Yep.
That's wild to think about it because this is a season. Again, basketball is a season that started
November. Yeah, end of last, I think November, right after Thanksgiving was the first game of the season.
All right, listen, if you're planning on going to Des Moines, drive safe. We do have a chance for some, interesting Midwest weather tomorrow. I would just say get in the caravan on I-80 because there's going to be so many vehicles leaving from Muscatine. You're going to see all the Muscatine County plates, right? Isn't that going to be the giveaway?
Well, I think the thing is there's going to be people from all over the state. Like I have buddies from Sioux City because Sioux City East is in the tournament.
Sure.
They're getting there tomorrow so that they can see this game because it's the 2 best players in the state.
Sure.
And Joe Wieskamp and Patrick McCaffrey facing off. And everyone wants to see that. They get to see it on the biggest stage. And it's going to be, I'm excited. This is what you get into sports for games like tomorrow.
And it's such a cool moment for the Muskies. And for this
I've got my
entire
playoff
community.
beard going too. I haven't shaved since the playoffs began. I'm going full hockey
playoff
mode.
Beard.
Yeah,
it's so great. I love it. Oh, it's great. You have a playoff beard. Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah, whatever it takes. Right. I don't know if maybe. Does Joe wear a new pair of shoes for the game? I don't know. I
think he's worn a different pair of shoes for every game this year.
That's interesting. I wonder about the superstitions if they exist in the high school level.
I think superstitions are different. I know I was that guy that if I had an outfit on or if I put a certain pair of socks on left, right, whatever, and we won a big game, then I'm doing that until we lose. Like that was the way I was coming up. But I don't know, this new breed of athletes is a little bit different. They're not as superstitious, I think, as our generation was and the generations before us.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
I blame Twitter. I don't know.
You can't blame Twitter. Okay, all right, yeah. So against Linn-Mar.
I was yelling.
This is pretty cool to see Joel in action. Again, Joel and Brian Musell from the Linn-Mar victory. Let's check this out. We'll have audio too.
Ruff crosses over Hutton into the front court, steps into a three at the buzzer. Short! Muscatine Muskies are going to the state tournament! Yeah, baby! Back off Linn-Mar, 58-55! Celebrate, baby! It's party time in downtown Muscatine! What a game! The Muscatine Muskies had a 7-point halftime lead.
Having a pretty good look.
And now they held on as they came from behind after 3 quarters.
Maybe third time now, but
yeah, it was. That's always that situation. Do you foul? Do you not foul? Because you're up 3. And that's why I'm glad that there's somebody like Gary Belcher making that call. And let's also talk about his assistants, Joel Witchers and Jake Musell.
Pretty cool.
You know, those guys work really hard too. They're in the district. They're around the guys. Jake was a teammate a lot of these guys just a year ago. You know, he's right out of high school and now he's an assistant coach, which says a lot about him. And you know, and Joel Witchers, he was one of my first coaches. And there's not a more calm and collected individual, which is great because Coach Belger is as intense and as fiery as it comes. So having that juxtaposition,
for sure,
you know, on the bench is really good for Muscatine. And there's a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience on that sideline.
Yeah, and I think, you know, for Jake and, you know, Joe to be such good friends for so long, there's probably just a good level of comfort.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, that's tough. My first coaching job, I was 19, coaching Muscatine baseball, and I was coaching guys who I had just played with the year before.
Sure.
And it's a really delicate line to have to be on, especially when you're as such good friends. And so that says a lot about Coach Belger, that he's got confidence in this kid to come. And it also tells you a lot just about the young man. And that shot right there of Joe getting the banner for the first time.
That's pretty cool.
Like, because I have had the chance to talk to him a lot and interview him for articles that I've written. That is the only goal he's ever verbalized to me, and that was to get Muscatine back to the state tournament. All his other goals he keeps very personal. That one he's very public about.
Yeah, it's just that's such a great. Yeah, that I haven't seen that shot. That is pretty powerful. That looks like maybe football coach Jake Mueller right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty special to have that. So we hope that this happens again. Well, 3 more times. Right?
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
we want to cut down a net.
And if they win tomorrow, Muscatine's guaranteed 2 more games.
Okay.
Because even if they lost in the semifinals, they would play in the 3rd place game on Friday morning.
Gotcha.
So,
Muskie Boys State.
Yeah,
wow.
It's happening.
This is it. Tomorrow, 6:30-ish.
Yeah.
So if you're leaving for Des Moines, what are we, about 2 hours from Des Moines? 2.5? Safe? I should know all the times I've driven to Adventureland.
Well, and if you're wondering, you know, how often an 8 seed or a lower seed makes a run, I did some research. It happens a lot. And in fact, it just happened last week in the girls tournament. Iowa City West was a 7 seed.
Yeah.
And they upset undefeated Iowa City High, their crosstown rival, in the state championship game. You know, so it's high school sports. Yeah. Absolutely, anything can happen. And when you've got a player like Joe Wieskamp, you got a chance to win any game you go.
100%. And again, I'm so thrilled for this community. There's a look at the bracket once more, and you can kind of get a look at the landscape ahead. If you're going to the game tomorrow, drive safe. I believe Chad and Ryan will be there, so maybe we'll have some footage.
And thanks for having me on. I know. Thanks again to Brooke, my boss at Affordable Metal Manufacturing, for letting us come. And
it was a
you mentioned it is raining. Honestly, if you are out there listening and you do have some water coming in through your roof and you may have some damage,
he's right.
Seriously, give us a call. The metal roof. I know Tony's got one on his garage.
I do.
And it really is a much more efficient and effective solution to weather. It's the last roof you'll ever own, is putting a metal roof on your house.
True.
And we can make it not look, it's not your grandfather's metal roof.
Right.
We can make it look a lot nicer than what you used to have.
Which was also going to be the name of the company. It's not your grandfather's metal roof, but they decided to go with Affordable Metal. I mean, it was a close call for sure. Brooke, I think you guys made the right choice. Yeah. Thanks, buddy. It's good to see you.
Thanks.
So have a safe trip tomorrow. I mean, this is, again, momentous occasion for sure for Muscatine and the Muskies tomorrow, Iowa City West. So as we wrap, how about a little cart cam action, and then we'll take a shot of some of these March food court specials, because we got cameras all over the place here at Hy-Vee today. We do the show live at 8:30 from inside Hy-Vee off Highway 61. There you can see the cart cam Ryan Broderson in action.
And if you don't want to do the cart cam yourself, you can. We're big online. Get it delivered to our house.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Household, so.
I haven't experienced the aisles online personally. I've certainly seen the folks that shop those orders and deliver them.
Every weekend comes to our house. Saves us so much
wild.
time.
They bring it into your house, right?
Yeah, they bring it right to the doorstep.
Unbelievable.
Saved us so much time, and we actually save money because we just shop off our list.
Yeah, well, we would love you to have the impulse buys. We want you to get 15 candy bars.
We took advantage of the truckload sale.
There you go. That's good.
Don't worry.
All right, so as we wrap, let's take a look at those March food court specials on the aisle cam real quick, and we'll come back to see where Ryan's at. There we go. So some good deals all throughout the month of March. Inside, those banners have different specials. How about a breakfast burrito for $6? That might be what's for lunch today. I know, a breakfast burrito for lunch, it sounds weird, but, well, it's tough when you work in a grocery store that has such good food like we do. A lot of great options. All right, let's go right back to Cart Cam, and then we're going to wrap up and tell you that we got a full slate of guests. Coming down the seasonal aisle is Ryan Broderson. But there you go, right into Easter. Boom, there it is. Oh, the candy, the eggs, it's all there, ladies and gentlemen. Easter coming up on Sunday, April 1st, which is April Fool's Day. Yeah. It's such a great perspective, isn't it? All right, still to come on the show this week, Muscatine County Sheriff C.J. Ryan. He will be here, and we're packed to the gills tomorrow. Nicole Sorgenfrey from the United Way, she'll be back with us. And again, I say this to you, and I mean it. If you're connected to a local fundraiser organization, there's stuff going on in town, email us, Hy-Vee@gmail.com. That comes right to my phone, right? I mean, it's tethered to my hand, basically. Hy-Vee@gmail.com. If you want to be a guest on the show, or if you know somebody that we should talk to, that's how we find out about things like chili cook-offs and the soup supper that the Fruitland firefighters had on Saturday. So you got to bring that to us, right? I'll be always looking around to talk to people, but it helps if you're on board as well. Hy-Vee@gmail.com. Reach out and say hi. Tomorrow, 8:30, we'll do another show. And again, Muskie State basketball is tomorrow night, 6:30-ish, and then this weekend, because I want to say thanks to Scott Richardson, the River City Outdoor Show / home show is Saturday and Sunday. That's it. I've said enough. Grab an umbrella. I didn't have one, so I got a bonus shower. My car is getting washed right now in the parking lot for free, and take care of yourself. We'll see you tomorrow at 8:30 right here on Hy-Vee Today. Catch the rebroadcast at 7:30 and 10:30 on MPW Remax Channel 5. Thanks, Armstrongs. Appreciate that. For now, bye.
Thanks for watching Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone. We'll do it again tomorrow with more local guests from in and around the Muscatine community. Questions? Comments? Know a great guest? Reach out to Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone on Facebook or via email, hyveetoday@gmail.com.